in them and end up rejecting them. This is especially true for the athletes out there who have high SMV and get a lot of female attention. I'll start by sharing my opinion on a message that I received from someone who is an 18 years old college recent MGTOW student who wants to know how to navigate the murky waters of rejecting females. Let's also discuss the sociocultural dynamics associated with this throughout different ages for men and women. This is what the message said. I'm a college student who is sick of the dating wilderness. Girls always attack guys in their teens for no apparent reason. Starting in middle school, girls always told me that I look like a weirdo or that I'm not good looking. After receiving repeated rejections in addition to these frequent insults from girls, I came to the conclusion that it wasn't worth the time to be in a relationship with girls. I've told my female acquaintances that due to my poor history with women, I don't intend to get married or start a family. Guess what? I encountered the same responses as usual. One woman even completely lost it when I told her that I'm not interested in her and started shouting at me. Now that time has passed, I truly have no desire to date women. My male friends are dating and living with their girlfriends while attending college. These are the 4 most memorable years in your life and should ideally be spent focused on self-improvement during this time. I also wrestle, play football, and take part in kickboxing. As a young athlete with a history of dealing with sassy women, I am aware that it only takes one sassy woman who is upset that I won't commit to a relationship with her to falsely accuse me of assault and ruin my career before it even gets off the ground. Alright guys, so this young man is just curious to know how athletes can navigate the dynamics of dating a relationship. Women want males to respect them when they use the word no. But much too frequently, the woman will keep on approaching you and won't accept your refusal when you say no to her. That double standard is appalling to me. Regarding male athletes, imagine peacock wings and feathers. A woman can't help but participate in the mating display ritual when she watches a man perform on the sports field with muscles that resemble peacock feathers. You now know that finding a purportedly worthwhile female is generally not worth the effort. Having them come to you makes the situation simpler. But here's the catch. In reality, I've only ever been approached by the damaged, crazy sort of woman. To this young MGTOW, I will say this. The trick is that you don't actively seek them out. Instead, they find you. You learned that from the woman who was showing interest in you, and you informed her that you weren't interested in her either, perhaps because you weren't drawn to her. However, her feeble little ego probably couldn't handle that reality. Instead, she began scolding you and subtly suggesting that you are fearful of being harmed, or that she is unique among women. Ironically, putting your attention on yourself will only make women pay you more attention. Because you won't date them, some women are so incensed that they will try to ruin your sporting career. This is largely based on false accusations, and it is utterly disgusting. If a female told you she wasn't interested in you, and you threatened to rape her if she didn't actually sleep with you, she would call the police, who would then drag you away to put you behind bars. However, it is entirely acceptable for a woman to threaten a man by making a fake claim against him, having him taken away by the police, and having him humiliated in front of everyone if he doesn't sleep with her. Once more, all double standards. You are intelligent enough to make your own decisions at the age of 18, but I would worry about your physical urge for intimacy since it will make you very unhappy. You must realize that you will occasionally become upset, and that if you let that frustration fester for too long, it will eventually drive you to do something irrational like mocking a cheerleader. I declined a few ladies in my first year of college because I was more interested in applying my skills to work in television, film, photography, and video. Women can never comprehend a man's desire to prioritize himself over a woman. You'll become a major obstacle for them as a result of that. My 4 years of college were the worst of my life. After graduation, I had to decide how I was going to make a living because my scholarship was essentially over. I had to contend with feminist teachers and ideologues, as well as be accepting and allowing the female students to take advantage of the hard work that myself and the other male students put forth. Your 30s will probably be the best decade of your life if you act responsibly. When I was in my 20s, 3 men told me that, and it turns out that they were right, because research has shown that a man peaks both physically and cognitively at this age. Additionally, people take it more seriously when the man is in his 30s. Most women who are attracted to sports don't truly want to jeopardize their careers. They only see a young man who is making a lot of effort and who has the potential to succeed in life. They are inspired by his passion, desire, and success on the field, and they dream of him one day becoming a famous athlete who receives large sums of money. They see a man like that and desire to follow in his successful footsteps. When they are turned down, they often want to vent their frustration on the man who turned them down. Keep in mind that for the majority of women at that age in college, the likelihood of receiving a rejection at the age of 18 or 19 from any man is fairly low. And that's going to seriously undermine their sense of worth and make them grumpy and irritable. And I believe that is good because it demonstrates that nobody has actually effectively put them in their place before. It seems like numerous women turned you down in the past. Perhaps the trench coat you were sporting drove away women's attention since it made you look weird. Possibly it was nothing more than hearsay or something more subtle. Whatever the reason, if a man is young and in his early teens and is rejected by the first 10 or 20 women he approaches in his life, it will leave emotional scars and essentially leave a mark on him. If, like you, he develops physical strength in his later teens, interest from women will exponentially increase. He will understand that these women don't really like him for who he is as a whole, but for what he does on the field. Because women rejected you in the past, you are rejecting them today. I would advise any man to reach the stage in his life when he is the one turning down the girls, both on and off the field, because I did the same thing with many ladies in my late teens and early 20s. The last thing you want to do when you're in your early 20s is to become successful in a sport and marry the first attractive woman that comes through the door. Just look at tennis players like Novak Djokovic, who is currently married. He has struggled to maintain his position at the top. He even admitted that he had some relationship problems. He might have easily waited till he was in his mid-30s before gaining the maturity to find a respectable wife. Instead, he risks his life and career by getting married too soon. When I once questioned a professional baseball general manager about the players on his team's sports-related issues, he responded that nobody was talking about it since it was a serious problem. The fact that no one discusses it is for good reason. Otherwise, female sports enthusiasts wouldn't be investing in jerseys, attending games, purchasing tickets, and in some cases, letting their partners watch the games in the first place. Women's behavior in and around professional sports teams has essentially been quietly and carefully pushed under the rug so that the team doesn't truly have any problems with their financial situation. And as a male athlete, you are expected to be intent on outperforming your rivals on the playing field. Angry women find professional athletes to be the ideal prey. Athletes who have great income or earning potential, yet are too preoccupied with training to understand female nature. They have a lot of testosterone in their bodies, which makes them more appealing and attractive to women. Additionally, it is socially acceptable for wealthy male athletes to marry because doing otherwise would prevent them from socializing with their married male teammates outside of the locker room. If you reject women, you also reject your colleagues' choices in social activities and in life, since you are aware of the true character of women. Therefore, it is not a simple rejection when a male athlete rejects a woman because so many of her aspirations and dreams depend on being with him. All male athletes hope to succeed in their chosen sports, and many snobby women hope to find a successful sportsman to date. That's probably all I have to say about sports-loving women and men. Just briefly returning to the subject of men rejecting women. In a culture where males are losing their legal rights in marriage, they must seduce and charm women to go on dates with them, and they are essentially lucky to find anyone at all. We can only truly live life according to our own ways by rejecting women. Because they are aware of this, women truly detest it when men follow their own paths. They despise men so much that they fabricate claims in order to prevent them from going their own way in the first place. Because if you remove one of the top 10% of guys off the menu, that's like pulling 9 below average men off the table as well. Successful men generally don't want to reject women in general. In place of 2 and 20, there is now only one desirable male left for the women to pick from, as more and more guys elect to get sugar babies or simply play the field. The numbers game for women gets worse and worse. Going your own way is definitely an option to consider if you're one of the top 10% of men out there and you're listening to this right now. Since you have options, you can avoid begging for attention from women. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe